In this video, we're going to talk about something that every senior in America has faced at some point. Those never-ending bills that seem to show up no matter how careful you are. Medical bills, credit card statements, insurance letters. Sometimes it feels like they never stop coming. And on a fixed income, every new envelope can bring stress or even fear. But here's the good news. Not every bill you received needs to be paid. In fact, there are certain types of bills that many seniors pay without realizing they don't have to. And that's what we'll uncover today. I'll explain the most common kinds of bills older adults should never pay, and how understanding a few simple rules can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. You've worked hard all your life, and you deserve to keep what's yours. So stay with me till the end, because these are things every senior in America should know. And before we begin, I want to hear from you. Have you ever received a bill that made your heart race, only to find out later it wasn't even your fault? Tell me in the comments where you're watching from and share your story. Your experience might help someone else today. 1. Medical bills already covered by Medicare or insurance. Let's start with one of the most common problems many seniors face: paying medical bills that have already been covered by Medicare or your supplemental insurance. It happens every single day. You visit the doctor, get a procedure, or stay in the hospital for a few days. Medicare covers its share, and your secondary insurance takes care of the rest. You feel relieved, thinking everything is finished. But then, a few weeks later, another envelope arrives in the mail. It looks official and urgent. Big red letters saying, "Final notice," or "Balance due." For a moment, your stomach drops. You might start thinking, did Medicare miss something? Will this hurt my credit if I don't pay right now? That worry is exactly what many hospitals and billing departments rely on. Sometimes they make honest mistakes, but other times they send duplicate statements, hoping people will just pay to avoid stress or confusion. The truth is simple. Once Medicare or your insurance has paid, you are not responsible for paying again. That's the law. Let me tell you about Evelyn, a 74-year-old retired teacher from Florida. After knee surgery, she received a bill for over $2,000. She was about to mail a check when her neighbor suggested she call Medicare first. One short phone call changed everything. Medicare confirmed the hospital had already been paid in full. Evelyn didn't owe a single dollar. She tore up the check and felt such relief, not just for the money saved, but for standing up for herself. So remember this: before you pay any medical bill, call Medicare or your insurance company and double-check. Most of the time, you'll find it's already taken care of, and that simple call can save you both money and peace of mind. 2. Old debts that are past the statute of limitations. Now, let's talk about something that surprises a lot of older adults: old debts that are too old to collect. Many seniors don't realize that every state in the U.S. has what's called a statute of limitations. That's just a legal term for a time limit, how long a company or debt collector can legally make you pay. Once that time has passed, they can't take you to court or force you to pay another penny. But here's where it gets tricky. Some debt collectors take advantage of kind, honest people, especially seniors who just want to do the right thing. They send scary letters, make urgent phone calls, or even threaten legal action. They hope that fear will make you send money right away. But if the debt is past the statute of limitations, you are not legally required to pay it. No matter how official their letter looks or how serious their voice sounds, they can't make you pay what the law says is no longer owed. Let me share the story of Mr. Thompson, a 70-year-old widower from Ohio. He started getting calls about an old credit card he closed nearly 20 years ago. The collectors told him his name was still on the balance and they could take him to court. Out of fear, he sent small payments every month for almost a year. One day, his daughter looked into it and found out that the debt was long expired. It was legally uncollectible. When he learned the truth, he finally stopped paying and said he felt like a huge weight had lifted off his shoulders. So if someone calls or mails you about an old debt, don't panic. Check first. Look up your state's time limit or ask a local legal aid office for help. 3. Debts owed only by a deceased spouse or family member. This next one is difficult to talk about because it often comes during one of the hardest times in life, after losing someone you love. When a spouse, parent, or sibling passes away, the last thing anyone expects is to start getting phone calls or letters demanding payment for that person's debts. Yet it happens all the time. Credit card companies, medical offices, and even collection agencies often send bills to surviving family members, hoping they'll pay out of guilt or confusion. But here's what every senior should know. If your name is not on the account, you are not legally responsible for that debt. When someone passes away, their estate, not their family, becomes responsible for any remaining bills. That means whatever money or property they left behind is used to settle those debts, not your personal savings, your Social Security check, or your retirement funds. Let me share a story about Margaret, a 76-year-old woman from Texas. When her husband passed away, she began receiving medical and credit card bills in his name. The letter said urgent and warned of collection actions. She felt pressured and scared, thinking she had to pay to protect his memory. Before sending any money, her daughter convinced her to call the local legal aid office. They confirmed what many families don't know. Margaret didn't owe a cent. Those bills were her late husband's alone, and the creditors had no right to demand payment from her. So if you ever receive a bill after a loved one's death, check if your name is actually on the account. If it isn't, the law protects you. Don't let grief or guilt make you pay what isn't yours. 4. Unauthorized charges and billing errors. Now let's talk about something that seems small but quietly drains a lot of seniors' money every year. Unauthorized charges and billing mistakes. These little errors can sneak into your credit card statements, utility bills, or even hospital invoices without you noticing. It might be a subscription you never signed up for, a charge that got billed twice, or a service you canceled months ago but are still being charged for. The truth is, companies make mistakes more often than they admit, and sadly, many older adults just pay the total without checking line by line, because they don't want to fall behind or deal with the hassle of calling customer service. But here's something important to remember. You are not required to pay for anything you didn't agree to or use. Until a charge is verified and corrected, you have every right to dispute it. Let me share the story of Mr. Reynolds, an 82-year-old from Arizona. One month, he noticed a $75 charge on his credit card from a company he didn't recognize. At first, he assumed it was something small he might have forgotten about, but his granddaughter encouraged him to call and ask. When he did, the company admitted it was a mistake, a system error that had affected hundreds of people. They refunded him immediately. Mr. Reynolds told us that the best part wasn't the refund itself, it was realizing he could stand up for himself and take control. So here's what I want you to do. Every month, take a few minutes to review your bills carefully. Look at each line and ask yourself, did I use this? Did I agree to this? If something doesn't look right, call the company and ask questions. You work too hard for your money to lose it to someone else's mistake. 5. Debts discharged through bankruptcy. This one might feel a little heavy, but it's something many seniors need to understand clearly. Debts that were erased through bankruptcy. For many people, the word bankruptcy sounds shameful or scary, but it shouldn't. Bankruptcy exists to help honest people who fell into hard times get a fresh start. Once the court discharges your debts, that means those debts are gone for good. You don't owe that money anymore, not $1. But unfortunately, not everyone plays fair. Some creditors and collection agencies keep sending bills even after bankruptcy is complete. They count on confusion, fear, and your desire to do the right thing. Many older adults, not wanting any trouble, keep paying these old balances even though they don't legally have to. Let me tell you about James, a 71-year-old from Michigan. After years of medical problems and a failed small business, he filed for bankruptcy. It was a hard decision, but it gave him peace knowing his debts were wiped out. Yet just months later, he started getting new letters from old creditors. The envelopes looked official, filled with words like urgent and past due. Out of fear, he sent small payments for nearly 6 months. When his niece looked at the paperwork, she discovered every one of those debts had been discharged. James didn't owe a cent. With one phone call, the harassment stopped, and he said it felt like finally taking a deep breath after years of pressure. So if you've gone through bankruptcy, remember this. Once a debt is discharged, it's over. No one can legally make you pay it again. If someone says otherwise, they're either misinformed or trying to take advantage of you. You earned your peace. Don't let anyone take it away. 6. Debts belonging to adult children. Now let's talk about something that touches the heart. When parents or grandparents pay for their adult children's debts. Many loving seniors fall into this trap without realizing it. You've spent your whole life caring for your children, helping them when they struggled, and putting their needs before your own. So when they run into money trouble, your first instinct is to step in. It's an act of love, but sometimes it ends up hurting you more than it helps them. Here's what you need to know. You are not legally responsible for your adult children's debts unless you co-signed a loan or a credit card with them. Their medical bills, credit card balances, or personal loans belong to them, not you. Debt collectors may still call and pressure you, especially if they know you're kind-hearted and responsible. They'll use emotional language to make you feel guilty or afraid. But legally, you don't owe that money. Let me tell you about Mrs. Harris, an 80-year-old grandmother from North Carolina. Her son lost his job and couldn't pay his credit cards. Wanting to help, she started paying his bills each month, thinking it would just be temporary. But months turned into years, and most of her savings disappeared. When she finally spoke to a financial counselor, she learned she had never been required to pay any of it. Her son's debt was his alone. She said her biggest regret wasn't helping. It was not protecting herself first. So, if you're ever asked to cover a grown child's debt, take a moment before saying yes. Helping your family is noble, but protecting your own security is just as important. 7. Scams and fake bills disguised as real notices. Finally, let's talk about one of the most dangerous traps facing seniors today, scams that look completely real. Every year, thousands of older adults lose money to fake bills, letters, and emails that appear to come from trusted companies or even government agencies. These scammers are clever. They know how to design letters that look exactly like real utility bills, hospital statements, or bank notices. They use familiar logos, addresses, and official-sounding language like urgent payment required or final notice. Scammers target seniors on purpose because they know you care about paying your bills on time and doing the right thing. They count on that sense of responsibility to trick you into sending money quickly. Let me share a story about Mr. Daniels, a 77-year-old from Wisconsin. He received a letter that looked just like a power company bill. Same logo, same layout, even the same address. It said he owed $185 and needed to pay immediately to avoid disconnection. Luckily, his neighbor advised him to call the company first using the number from their official website. When he did, they told him it was a scam. Someone had copied their design to trick customers. Mr. Daniels was shocked, but grateful he double-checked before paying. So remember this, never pay a bill until you're sure it's real. Don't use the phone number printed on the letter, go to the company's website, or call the number on your real bill instead. If something feels off, trust your gut and ask someone you trust for help. So today, we've talked about 7 kinds of bills that seniors should never pay. Medical bills already covered, old debts that expired, debts from a deceased loved one, billing errors, discharged debts, your adult children's debts, and fake scam bills. Each one is a common trap, but now you know how to protect yourself. The most important thing to remember is this. Don't let fear or pressure make you pay something you don't truly owe. Always pause, take a breath, and double-check. A simple phone call can save you hundreds of dollars and a lot of stress. You've worked too hard for your money to let anyone take it through mistakes or deception. Your money should go toward your comfort, your health, and your peace of mind. If you learned something new today, like this video and share your story in the comments. It might help someone else sleep easier tonight.